Welcome to the I Can podcast, where we discuss all things blindness related, including, but not limited to, technology, issues, and other topics. I hope you enjoy.
This month we're talking audio description.
Don't forget, you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, such as included but not limited to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the latest models of the Victor Reader.
Hi, I'm Brandy Kubel. Careers Plus is designed for young adult and high school students to prepare for high school, middle school, college, and their career of choice. The goal of this podcast is to advocate and educate while fostering a sense of confidence in youth to pursue college and the careers of their choice through interactive, dynamic learning experience.
My name is Ana Wisma.
I'm Lex Ariola.
Hi, my name is Patricia Figueroa.
My name is Pavel Castro.
Suzanne Wilson.
My name is Lisa Lloyd.
Hello, my name is Alexander Espel.
I am Natalie Charles.
Paul Gray.
Aaron Espinoza.
Hi, my name is Rocco.
My name is Logan Barantes.
I'm Charlene.
My name is Randy Owen.
Hi, my name is Anjali. I am the music composer for this podcast.
Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss any of our uploads. Now, on to our episode.
Over the past few weeks, we've been having roundtable discussions about audio-described content, what makes for quality audio description, our experiences with audio-described content, as well as our hopes for the future. We hope you enjoy.
We begin with this question.
What is audio description?
Audio description, the way I understand it, is a form of narration provided to help explain what's happening on screen to those who are blind or visually impaired to better grasp what's going on screen. I usually like to think of it as like a little, like I'm always watching something with a friend who's just leaning over my shoulder and describing everything, you know?
It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just like a movie being audio described. Like there's a voice behind like the scenes telling you what's happening in the movie for people that can't see.
Audio description is a very detailed and incredible tool that gives us the little pieces of information during maybe a silent movie, or what I enjoy, action movie or game shows, or something that's for the visually impaired or blind that we can't pick up. So the audio part will actually describe what's going on in the movie during a silent part. So it doesn't disturb the movie, but it gives us those little details that we need to actually know what's going on.
So audio description is a separate soundtrack that is associated with video or images that describes the scenes of what's going on, the visuals of what's going on the screen, so that the blind or visually impaired audience can follow along. Audio description can be in movies, television, commercials, educational content, image description, and there's probably a bunch of other things I haven't thought of.
To me, audio description is when somebody, or even just in the movies, somebody describes to you what's on the screen and what's happening, and they say things like, oh, this is, they describe the clothing, they describe the face, they describe everything that's going on in the scene, and it makes it clear to me what's going on because I can't really see that well.
To me, audio description is accessibility to what sighted individuals can see in movies, in TV programs, and educational videos.
Audio description is a way of describing the visual content of movies and TV shows.
Well, for me, audio description is what enables me, a blind guy, to see what's going on in the film. Because when an audio described film or TV show is done well, that's what happens for me. I see what's being described as if the movie is right in front of my face. And that's what I love about it. I can envision what's happening thanks to the description, and it just makes for that complete movie going or TV watching experience.
Audio description it's basically a track it's a description of what you're missing as a blind person or a visually impaired person. Because you can hear the narration, you might be missing stuff in between that's visually there, but it's not being described to you. So you're missing a large chunk of what people that have sight are seeing. So it allows you to get that information a different way. So that's what I think audio description is.
Audio description is like when something is being described to you in a way so you know what's going on.
Audio description is when a person who is either sighted or can be blind or visually impaired describes a movie, show, or even a video for people who are blind and visually impaired.
Audio's description is a verbal narrative of visual cues, actions, and scenes taking place as dialogue is spoken.
So why is it important?
Audio description, to me, allows me to be part of the conversation after the movie is over.
So my name is Suzanne Wilson, and my son is Nico. Yeah, so we were first introduced via Netflix for the audio description. I actually like it very much because sometimes I will try alongside of him if we're listening to something to not look at the TV and go along with the descriptions with him so I can picture what's being said. And actually so far I'm very impressed. Now we've done more sort of documentaries and or comedy or like stand-up things like that seem like they're easier to follow, like you don't always necessarily have to be watching it. But I definitely think that these are tools that are going to be helpful, and I'm looking very forward to expanding our use of it as I learn how to make that happen through other channels.
So basically I'm taking an anthropology class, and my teacher one day she showed a video and it was kind of talking about like different types of monkeys, and it was audio described so good. Like there was this one part where like there was this like weird kind of sound coming from the video, and if it wasn't for the audio description I wouldn't have known that it was like a gorilla kind of beating his chest.
What does quality audio description mean to you?
So I believe like what makes good audio description is like it has to be like easy to understand and also like a descriptive so you know what's going on.
What makes audio description good is a person who has been doing audio description for a while and who like describes everything in the video or movie that's going on that is important to like the movie's like movements or like facial expressions. I like having anything I described, but especially like when the movie is like quiet. Well, not really quiet, but like has stuff going on, but doesn't really like have anyone talking.
To me, quality audio description is that perfect blend between just enough information about the scene and the character, their costume, their stance and facial expressions, and movements that tell me what is happening in the scene that I can't gather from audio cues.
Quality audio description is having a real human describe a TV show or a movie, putting their own touch to it. I think, just basically having an actual human and putting their own touch to it, putting some emotion into their work. It's definitely an art.
To me, quality audio description is something that fits in naturally with whatever it's describing. So if there's something visual that's happening, and if you're told too soon or too late, it disrupts the immersion that you have in the film. It takes you away from that. And I feel like that's something very important, and it needs to be consistent. Like it needs to consistently not only describe what's happening, but do it in a concise manner that doesn't detract from the experience itself. And like I would hate to listen to audio description as people are talking, because then I can't tell what was just said. And in a live experience like movies, that can be very difficult. If I may take a bit of a side experience here, now like a lot more video games now are coming with audio description. But the biggest problem is in my opinion, it sounds way too robotic. So it takes me out of the immersion of what I'm playing or experiencing. And it just makes me not want to use the audio description when it's just an overall positive thing to the experience.
So for me, quality audio description is being able to understand what's fully going on in the video or like in the movie or whatever. It's kind of like whoever said, like being able to understand the conversation the next day, and even like not even just the conversation. So like I like to watch a lot of documentaries and like even like music from different countries and listen to music that is not in Spanish or English, like languages I can't understand. And it's frustrating when you can't understand the lyrics because the captions aren't there. You don't know what the lyrics are or like what's going on. So there was this one time I was watching a documentary about a certain country, and I looked in the comments like I always do, and there was a lot of comments saying, "Oh, the old man is so kind because he did so and so," but it was very visual. And there was a lot of talking in different language that I couldn't pick up on. And so like, I couldn't see what the guy had done that was so kind. And it really made me angry because it was like, okay, when did he do that? I did not get any of it. I didn't even get the conversations.
When it gives you the details of almost as if you're in a book and you can almost find yourself lost in the movie.
I think the narrator is first and foremost. Got to have somebody that has a clear, resonant voice that knows how to pace it, not go too fast, not go too slow, but also has the ability to go quickly when there's a lot to say in a short amount of time between the dialogue when folks are talking. So that's a big part. And the descriptiveness of it. The more detail, the better in terms of objects, colors, textures, facial expressions. There's just so much that a good audio described script can have in it that makes for fully realized descriptions that really convey everything that's going on to the blind listener.
I think quality audio description is listening to someone's voice who's captivating, saying everything that's on the screen, using descriptive words, and saying them at the right time.
I think that when I can understand what's going on in the movie and I don't feel like I'm missing like multiple plot points of the whole movie, I feel like that's when it's good.
To me, what makes something a quality audio description is when the description is very vivid. They can create images. They can help create images in my head that describe vividly what's going on, like what the characters are doing, what's going on in the scene, and basically what's going on in the scene and how everything's what's going on in the scene. Yeah.
Audio description can also include performing arts and going to see, live shows. I was just going to give an example. So my dad and I went to see at Christmas time the Nutcracker, and the audio description that my dad was receiving, this was a good 20 years ago now, was so good. It was giving so much detail, and that's a ballet, right? So even though I had a lot more usable vision back then, I could not understand really what was happening in the ballet. But my dad had so much a better idea of what it was that was going on because he was getting all this wonderful audio description to the extent that it was sharing information like that dress that, so and so is wearing right now on stage has 16,000 sequins. And I was just kind of listening in the whole entire time because I got so much more out of it with that audio description piece than what I was getting just as, a sighted individual looking at the performance.
A couple months ago, Sacramento Theater Company did a production of a play called Wait Until Dark. And way back before most of you were born, I'm talking 1968, a film was made of Wait Until Dark. It starred Audrey Hepburn and I forget the male lead. I'm blanking out. But anyway, it's about a apparently recently blinded woman, a woman who had an accident and lost all of her vision, and then she's learning how to cope with that. And then she gets unwittingly involved with some drug smugglers, and all this intrigue and suspense follows. Anyway, so Sacramento Theater Company did a production, and they partnered with us, Society for the Blind. They sent their director and lead actors and crew over to Society for the Blind so they could learn more about blindness. They were very interested in authenticity. They wanted to make sure that their portrayal of the blind character was as authentic as possible, and so they consulted with us to get information they could utilize. So that was really a nice partnership. Now, they recognize that audio description would be an obvious component of all this. But for technical reasons, they weren't quite able to pull it off in time for the actual performances. But the good news is going forward, they will be having more audio described performances of the plays they produce at Sacramento Theater Company.
One of the things I was hearing from the well-known audio describers that you had on last year, Randy, was that often audio description is an afterthought that is not embedded in the original script, and how much more improved it is when it is embedded with the original script.
I had heard that The Mandalorian, which is a Disney production, it's a Star Wars series, that they had actually had when they were writing the stories, they actually had the scriptwriter for the descriptions included in that from the ground level up.
What would the ultimate audio description experience be like?
I like it when it literally helps me visualize, even without sight. The man lifts his left eyebrow as sweat drips down his right side of his cheek. When it actually is so descriptive, I'm visualizing as if I could see it.
I feel like I would like audio description to be in like more types of videos, like in music videos, in like different types of media.
I'm a big game show guy, because I love trivia, and I hated forever growing up when watching Family Feud or something, and I'm trying to guess the answer. Right? And then, they give the answer and the crowd talks over it, and I'm like, what'd they say? What was the answer? And I have no idea. Right? But now they're doing audio description now. So if you watch Family Feud or Pyramid, there's audio description on game shows now. Now, sometimes this gets into what's good and bad audio description. On the Pyramid, or when they're giving little clues, they say the answer before the person's guessing. So that spoils the whole thing, right? I'm sitting there trying to guess, and they're giving out the answer, and I'm like, oh. But Family Feud, when that sign flips over and the answer pops up, it says it out loud. I'm like, that's good audio description.
One of the things that really gets to me is you have, like on YouTube, you have subtitles, but there is no audio description at all. And I think like that is like the biggest thing that YouTube is missing, to enjoy that experience that much more. I think the ideal scenario for audio description is audio described video games. For the most part, it is a completely visual experience. It's an entire medium of these stories and experiences that people who can't see are locked out of, when it's, given the day and age, that shouldn't be the case. If you think of like something like the Last of Us TV show that just came out, the creator of the game said that this, was a great experience because this is an opportunity for people who will never pick up a controller to experience the story that they made. But that, like, years after the fact. So I think ideally, if you had something that was developed to either go into the game or work off of the system itself that's running the game, it would just greatly increase the amount of people who were able to experience these things. Like if it'll describe that, there's like for a platformer or something, there's a jump, in like 3 seconds or something. And I think definitely AI can play a part in that, especially now that we're seeing it do more and more complex things. If there's something in particular that you want described, if you could press a button and have like the last thing that was on screen described, just something like that to bring this great medium into more the hands of more people.
The ultimate audio description would be kind of like audiobooks where it's at right now, but not really. Basically, you can pick whoever you want to do audio description, have your favorite voice do audio description, and have different levels of how much you want described. I think that's the perfect form of audio description, being able to change it all around when it comes to who does the audio description and how much they describe to you. Definitely having blind people in the conversation whenever you're rolling out audio description, letting them choose how much they want and who they want to describe. Those three main things, I think, is how it can be improved.
So one of the things that I would like to be audio described would be like more YouTube videos. Not a lot of them can be audio described, so I feel like having that option is a good way to have it whenever you need it.
The ultimate audio described experience would be like for me is where a movie or like a YouTube video or anything like that is completely described, but like not really where there's only some things described, but like where everything is described. Like when there's movement or different scene changes or different facial expressions. Well, actually, I should say that most audio description is good, but I think that some things that could be improved by audio description are voices that were used previously in other projects being used for another different project. And like if that person was good at audio describing, then they should be used for other things besides what they were working on. Like I think there should be more voice talents that are good.
If you would like more information, please visit the Careers Plus page at societyfortheblind.org. You can also email us at eyecanpod@societyfortheblind.org. That's EYECANPOD @societyfortheblind.org.
Thank you for listening. Bye-bye, everybody.